Where's he doing it?
Just had a guy email at Secret Stash, July 24th and 25th.
Oh, he is coming back.
Yeah, he's gonna come back, and they're doing like a meet and greet that's specifically for Masters of the Universe.
That's what I'm like. It didn't make sense why. Like, it seemed like I was the only one there, and maybe you. I don't know if you had it. Did you have the book? The book to get signed?
Yeah, I got the book signed and Skellige.
Yeah, it didn't seem like there was a bunch of people there with anything other than like typical Kevin Smith stuff. Like,
but wait, there's more. When he comes back to do this signing, it's gonna be him, Jason Mewes, and I don't remember the actor's name, but the actor who's gonna play the voice of Orca.
Oh, cool. Oh, so he's coming back. It is definitely going to be a He-Man centric thing. How much is it?
Yep. I think it was. I glanced at it. $65 plus tax.
What do you get?
So probably like you get a commemorative Master of the Universe poster. You get what else? An exclusive Master of the Universe T-shirt. Of course, another picture with Jason Mewes, Kevin Smith, and the other guy, the Orko dude, and then sign one item.
Yeah. One item.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is it the same thing as the times as before?
Oh, but this one is kid friendly. I think you're gonna have some parents out there like Royal Rumble because I think the advertisement said like the first 50 kids in line get like I think they're gonna give them a free action figure. Nice. I don't know if it's one of the new ones that's coming out. It might be, but they're giving. Yeah,
I'm pretty sure because there's no reason for them to promote any other toy except for this. So they probably went to your local Target in Jersey and just grabbed all the Skelligods and said, "Let's give these out." Because I'm gonna tell you right now, as somebody who collects toys, and also occasionally
says, I got it here. Bring your kids. First 50 kids, 10 and under. Get a free Master of the Universe action figure from Mattel.
Oh, can I borrow your kid?
What? No, what? Heck no.
It's easy. You just bring the kid. It's like,
damn it. They're getting older now. I only got one that's super young now. It's like, shit, I can't even use my kids as a scapegoat anymore.
I'm gonna have to borrow a kid that day. Just like see a kid on street, like, hey kid, come with me. I'll give you $20.
Hey, you want to make $20 real quick? But you might want to watch that grabbing someone's kid.
Yeah, I'll be very careful with that. Well, guys, welcome to the show. As always, we're always sitting here commiserating and talking about all things pop culture. I'm, of course, Markell.
And I'm Ronnie.
And this is the Ronnie and Markell Make a Podcast show. But you probably already knew that when you clicked on here. And if you didn't, then we just told you. This show is essentially me and my brother here just shooting the shit about all things pop culture. But we are pop culture connoisseurs, so we know a thing or two. So
I know push the glasses. I know a little bit about the nerd stuff.
So we delve into all things that we're big into, like wrestling and comics and movies and films and TV. So with that said, we'll jump right into our wrestling segment here. Coming up this week, there was we just watched. I watched. I don't think you did.
SmackDown.
No, not just SmackDown, but AEW Fighter Fest. Fighter Fest. Which I will say on a scale of 1 to 10, that show as a whole, about a 9. It was pretty spot on in terms of the sheer amount of like matches that they had and the pop that they had. Of course, they had a full capacity crowd. They're on the road just like WWE is, but the main event was actually a coffin match, their first ever coffin match with their superstar Darby Allin, and it was awesome. Ethan Page was there.
He fought, what's his name, right? Was it Brian Cage or was it the other dude?
No, Ethan Page.
Yeah, that dude. Okay.
No, actually, maybe you haven't watched one because Ricky Stark is who you're thinking about. Ricky Stark and Brian Cage are actually feuding.
Yeah, they're not on the same page no more.
Yeah, they had a match at Fighter Fest. In which Ricky Stark beat Brian Cage.
Oh, right. So he got the FTW title?
Yes, he's the new FTW champion. Nice. And on top of that, he lost because the other guys from Team Taz cheated so that Ricky Stark could beat him for the Taz. So now Brian Cage is no longer with Team Taz.
Okay,
now
so that means that Brian Cage is gonna go on his own now, so he can. All right, I see what they're doing there. Okay, because he reminds me of like a Batista. Like that's a dangerous dude. So
he's amazing. I've seen him in his indie days and just being here, and he's amazing because he's one of those guys that obviously looking at him, he looks like a bodybuilder, but he also can like flip off the top rope and do moonsaults and like do all kinds of crazy moves that don't seem
like Keith Lee, like
Keith Lee be doing that. except for he's not fat. That's it.
Wow.
No, shout out to Keith Lee. It's all good.
I mean, Brian Cage. One thing with Brian Cage, I'm like, I'd love to see how long it takes him to put on a shirt with all those freaking muscles. Like, get on.
Put on the shirt. This dude just sprays the shirt on like. Shh. That's all I can do. I can't lift my arm that way. So, but yeah, I'm trying to. Yeah, he had a match. Oh, and then you have Jericho in a feud, obviously with the Pinnacle and his name MJF. MJF right now, once again,
they take that. Has they take that to another level yet? Now, did the Pinnacle beat them again?
No. What they're doing now is they're doing what's called the Labors of Jericho. The Labors of Jericho is basically 5 trials. If anybody remembers this, like since they've only been around for about 2 years, he's basically putting Jericho through a similar amount of trials to fight him the same way he did Cody back for AEW Revolution. So Jericho's got to go through all of these different matches, but they are, like, once again, there's stipulations to the match. Like this particular, like when they sat and did the contract signing or whatever, Jericho sucker punched him and like hit him. So this past week, our good friend to the show, also named Ronnie Sean Spears, hit him upside the head with a chair, and then of course because he's a heel, Sean Spears is holding Jericho in like a headlock, and then MJF just comes in like, so you thought that sucker punch was cool, huh? Yeah, well, it's cool. You know what? I actually thought about what the terms of my match is going to be next week or this week coming. Jericho's got to fight Sean Spears, but here's the stipulation of the match. Sean Spears is allowed to use the chair in the match, and it's not illegal, and he won't get disqualified. But if Jericho decides to use a chair, he will get disqualified, and the trials are over.
He won't fight MJF.
Exactly. So he has to fight against a guy who literally can use a chair to win the match. So I'm like, hey, man, look, these storylines ain't like something I ain't never seen, but you know they are. They're pro wrestling.
You know what I think too when I think about, I don't think it's gonna have the same outcome though. Like I know, remember I said with Cody and MJF, I was like, well, MJF needs to win this more because they're building him up. I feel like Jericho versus MJF, if it gets to that point, probably gonna bring somebody else new. I feel like somebody else new may show up and be a part of the Pinnacle and cost Jericho the match. Like that'll be a great time to bring out somebody else new. Like if AEW is listening, like a big fella who likes to give people these hands. I mean, you guys are looking for more talent, you know.
I mean, at this point, I would say he is the kind of person that has. I think I was just having this conversation earlier with somebody, and the thing that I want AEW to keep doing is that they're taking people who have some miles on them. They're taking in pre-owned wrestlers from WWE, like a pre-owned car with some mileage, but not too much mileage. Like they're taking them in with like, if it was a mileage on a car, you take a mileage of a car that has 10,000 miles on it because you probably can get another 200,000 out of it. So I think that's what they're doing. Like Tommy End just showed up, or AKA Malachi Black, formerly known FKA, known as Tom.
Right now, they threw him right in the top spot fighting Cody. Come on, man! Like the guy has a roundhouse kick for a finish. But I remember when I first told you about him back when he was on NXT. I was like, "Yo, I don't know this dude, but he got a fucking roundhouse kick." I'm like, I think Brad. What was his name? Was it Ken? Not Ken Shamrock. It was another dude that used to use kendo sticks I think he was like one of the last wrestlers I saw that like had moves like roundhouse kicks and stuff.
I know who you're talking about. He had like a goatee and beard stuff, and he just Blackman.
Yeah.
I can't remember. Yeah, I think it was George Blackman or somebody Blackman. He had like a short haircut. Yeah.
But I remember, he was the last person that like did moves like that did like kicks and stuff like that. I'm like,
he's a real martial artist. So
come on, man, the guy literally looks like he's like an apprentice of the Undertaker or some shit.
I mean, they're gonna get again. He has not a lot of miles on him from WWE because to my feeling. I feel like they just wasted him, especially this last year. Again, I don't want to go on the as I say, beat a dead horse with the whole WWE destroyed him.
We're gonna have the horse organizations coming after us. I beat dead horses on the show.
Look over there. There's a horse. Come here. I just saw a horse. I'm about to go beat it. But like again, WWE just doesn't seem like with their writing staff, they don't do as great of a job with certain wrestlers. Some wrestlers get decent storylines no matter what time it is, no matter what
Roman Reigns.
Wait, no. Wait, Randy Orton. I guess if your name starts with an R, maybe Riddle, Randy Orton, and Roman. That I didn't.
Speaking of Randy Orton for a second. I did not know all this time that his finisher is his name. I didn't know that. I just recently watched the episode with Stone Cold and Randy Orton. I did not know that the RKO was his name, Randy Keith Orton. I'm like, what? That's where that came from? Like, yes. Yeah, that's it. The RKO is the initials of his name because he was saying like Vince. Like Vince was kind of like, think of it, like gave it to him, like think of a name for your finisher. And he was like in the hallway, like couldn't think of nothing. And he was like FKB, AEN. He was like, and then he thought of his initials. He like RKO, and then Vince was like, I like it, let's use it. and that's how it became.
That's the birth of it. I love the Broken Skull sessions. You find out so much about these guys, man. Like it's a lot of fun to kick back with Stone Cold and like in that environment. Like obviously he doesn't get a chance to use the swear words and a lot of 4-letter colorful words like he does on his podcast. But
of course.
He's paying bills and doing his thing. So I appreciate it. You do what you got to do. AEW Fight Fest Night 2 is coming up, in which Jon Moxley is going to be fighting against my boy Lance Hoyt, the Murder Hawk, for the IGPW title, which is a New Japan Pro US title. He's going to be fighting for that, which I just got to say, AEW for me, and I'm pretty sure I've said this before, AEW for me is literally what I thought WWE would be at this point in time in 2021, which is they're building stars. They have old stars that are still relevant and doing things, and they're incorporating the world in their freaking acronym WWE and including the industry there. Like they basically went to the direction of let's make a sitcom with some wrestling in it, as opposed to let's keep the pro wrestling.
What did I tell you before when it came to WWE or AEW? I said everybody thinks that, oh man, they're doing these magical things. All they did, I used the Water Boy as an analogy. Remember, I forgot his name. I think it was not Shooter. That's Cappy Gilmore. I'm like Shooter McGavin. But remember the dude that was bullying Henry Winkler's character, and he took his playbook. I'm like, that's what it seems like. They literally just took their playbook, like, yeah, give me that here. Y'all don't need that. Because the stuff that they're doing literally is very similar to the Attitude Era. So they said, hey, like what I always say, simple is better. They're doing simple shit, but they're doing consistent storylines. They're not changing shit every week with this week Bobby Lashley's gonna fight this person. Okay, and then next week we're gonna break up the Hurt Business. Okay, and this week we're gonna put two of them back together. It's like, wait, what the fuck are you like? What is going on? What are you gonna do? Like, stick to one thing. They've lost their magic with long-term storytelling. You know, the shit that we grew up watching where Shawn Michaels.
Long-form storytelling, yeah.
Shawn Michaels had a feud with Stone Cold, and that shit went on for like 3 months straight before, you know, we finally got the two people at SummerSlam. And, you know, you were excited. You were goosebumps to see who was going to win. You know, now it's like, I don't know. Now it's more like a fucking circus these days.
The thing is it feels like they're moving, and I know we seem like two old wrestling fans. It's like back in my day, they used to.
Back in my day,
it's more along the lines. It feels like it's. I still have a little bit of hope that they can turn things around. I think what WWE desperately was waiting for was fans to come back. We're gonna cheer, maybe. But you still need good storylines.
Because I saw that Finn Balor came back, so maybe that was like an ace in there. That was like one of the things they were waiting for. Finn was like, "You want me back yet, Vince? Not yet. We're waiting for Vance to come."
The only reason that they brought him back, and definitely that's a good transition over to Friday Night SmackDown, which just passed yesterday when before we recorded this, and Finn Balor made his triumphant return from going to what he called was Broadway. Going down to NXT, which to most fans who've been watching this as long, we look at, honestly, when you graduate from NXT and come to the main roster, it's almost like going from either college to the NBA or high school to college. So when you decide to go backwards, it's really not exciting because it's like, man, did you see LeBron go back to his college and play with the rest of those guys? Like it doesn't hit the same.
It don't really make sense.
Yeah, especially because if you want us to Triple H and them, if you want us to believe NXT is a third brand and not a development brand, as a third brand, you can't sit here and make a big deal when this other person shows up over here because we're still trained when it was called a development brand to see them get excited about going up, ascending to main roster status.
Well, the only thing I say again about that is I feel like they could, but you got to do it proper. Give them the proper send off on NXT. If they're at the point of NXT where, okay, all right, they've been here a while, and this guy's dangerous as hell now. Now they're sending him to the main roster. You're like, oh man, because then mentally for the fans, you're like, oh man, I don't know who he gonna fight first when he gets to the main roster because they in trouble. But they don't do that. They'll have somebody on there for a year and maybe win like 10 matches out of that year and then throw them on the main roster. And now we're just supposed to believe like, okay.
I mean, to be honest, you could look at it just the most recent, like the one that somebody that recently they brought over, Shotzi Blackheart and Knox. I don't really know.
I was excited for Shotzi. Well, Tegan Knox. Tegan Knox is cool too.
Okay.
He just came back from injury, but I was excited for Shotzi because do yourself a favor. Anybody watching this, just Google close your eyes and pick a promo with Shotzi Blackheart. And I can tell you that that she has it. She's good in the ring. She's good in the mic. Like she has all the qualities of a great superstar. Will they nourish that and continue to go up with her is yet to be seen. Because I still keep thinking about another guy, and I know I'm jumping from show to show, but I still keep thinking about Ricochet. I know finally they have him back in, back in the spot, and he's got a Money in the Bank spot. But I'm like, I don't know how this guy isn't main event material already. Like, did you see him when he was in NXT? I'm like, did anybody watch those tapes? He has some of the most fun. There were certain stars from NXT like Charlotte Flair, Sasha, Asuka. Some people that put NXT on the map, Finn Balor, but I feel like among that group of people, like he was definitely one of them. But Ricochet is definitely one of them because his matches with Adam Cole, like those were some of the best matches I've seen in wrestling. Period. Like, dude, those if you're talking about like greatest matches of all time, I feel like some of those matches could be put with Stone Cold and those because those matches were that fucking good.
I'll take your word for it.
But now, I mean, you gotta go back and check them out. Like, but NXT doesn't feel like that anymore. It doesn't. It's like they lost that oomph. I don't even know how to describe it, but they had it, but they now it's like now it's a little.
Wait, are you saying that when the floor dropped out from underneath the people who were in NXT and looked like money that they dropped the floor and they went right into WWE, like main roster, that NXT, because they weren't really building this up properly, they just kept like pulling people. And then when you looked at the NXT roster, you're like, so who's the star? You're like, I don't know. Is Adam Cole going over here to the main roster? It's like, nope.
I think some people got the push at the wrong time. Like Keith Lee. Like, I felt like Keith Lee's a great wrestler and he's dope. I just felt like he still should have been on NXT a little bit longer. Like,
you mean the fact that the dude won the damn North American title and NXT title, first person to ever do that in history, and then like 2 weeks was on Raw? It's like, what the fuck?
Like 2 weeks later, like just shy of a week of being both double champions, they made him give one belt up. Then he lost the belt to another dude who shot him in the eyes with fire. I ain't gonna forget about that.
Oh, you mean he opened up the book and
yeah, I'm like,
what the hell?
And then there was no continued development with that. Next thing you know, he just disappeared, and then he was on the main roster. Then I'm gonna be this petty. Then they brought him to the main roster, gave him some whack ass new theme music, and made him shave his fucking goatee off. Like what was that? Like,
my man, it's not looking good. I would say, like, I know I still have faith that things can get better. And hey, guess what? Tomorrow is the Money in the Bank 2020. And more than likely, I will skim through it. I'll still check out the matches, partially. And I'll definitely watch the main. Yeah, I'll watch the main event matches that they have. There's four main events. I wanted to get your predictions for the Money in the Bank 2020. The two matches, two main matches for the Money in the Bank briefcases, which for the uninitiated, the Money in the Bank briefcase gives you a shot at the world title or universal title whenever, however you want to do it. And, you get a title shot at whoever the champion is. And they have the women who are there, and they have the men's match as well. They also have world title matches that are also going on as well. Apparently, Bianca Belair is not going to be in a match because she had a match on Friday Night SmackDown with Carmella. And so obviously Carmella wasn't going to win.
I'm guessing Carmella lost again.
Carmella lost because Bayley is actually injured. So I think she was supposed to be feuding with Bayley again, but she got injured in doing training.
Bayley's gonna be out like for a while, like for some months.
Couple months, yeah. So I mean, it's understandable.
I love Bayley. Get ding dong. Hello, I love that. Yeah.
Please God, no.
I love that. I actually have that shirt, by the way. I love that, but I do think that it's time for some fresh, let's continue the wave of fresh people. We got Bianca Belair. Okay, she fought Carmella. That's cool. Let's continue giving Bianca Belair other people who haven't really had a shot or a spotlight. I like that idea because it gives new talent a chance to shine.
Wait, what's that I hear? I think I just heard Vince McMahon calling NXT saying, "Hey, can I have some of your girls?" Like that's what it sounds like. Because let's go into that. The Money in the Bank match for the women include, let's see, we're looking at Asuka, which is like, come on, why are we even doing that? We all know at this point she's not going to win because
she's not going to win. Literally, she's awesome, but she's had the title a lot in the last 2 years.
Wait, you know what it is? I feel like I haven't seen it, but I feel like Asuka, because that's my girl, and I watch her show Kana-chan TV on YouTube. I watch her show, and I feel like she should be wearing like a back brace or something, because for the whole pandemic, she was holding the women's division in WWE on her back. The whole time. She was like a champion for she was literally holding it down for like most of the time. They didn't drop it. When did she actually lose the belt? I'm trying to remember. She
lost to Rhea Ripley. Yeah,
she didn't lose
it. No, wait, we forgot. She did lose it to Sasha Banks for a minute. Technically, she lost it to Sasha Banks for a minute and then got it back.
Yeah, when they were. Oh, I'm sorry. Bayley and them should also get some of the credit as well for like completely wasting the time of the women's division because they just said, you know what? Let's just throw all the titles on you.
You got to give props to that. They had all the gold at one point.
You mean 3 titles? Yeah, they had all the gold.
Yeah, they said, yo, Vince, since we carrying the company right now, can we have all the gold for a second? And he said, all right,
okay, I'll give them credit. They carried part of the load that Asuka had to carry. Because remember, Asuka got that belt before she lost it to Sasha. She got that belt from Becky the WrestleMania prior when she had Becky went away to have a kid.
Whenever Becky Lynch actually comes back, she never actually lost the Raw Women's title.
It'd be nice if Asuka had it.
Yeah, she relinquished it because she got pregnant.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, and somebody out there can write this in the comments. If I remember correctly, I don't remember Becky Lynch beating Asuka. I'm not talking about for the belt, but like in general. Because
she did. No, she did.
She's beat her? When?
Remember, one of her last matches before she got pregnant was against Asuka. She had finally beat Asuka for the long.
Okay.
That was the promo. Yeah. That was like the last. That was like one of the last things that like evaded her. She could never beat Asuka.
She could never beat Asuka. Okay, so she finally. I didn't remember that.
Beat her. Yeah, she finally beat her. If I'm not mistaken, that was the last one of the last matches she had before she announced that she was pregnant.
I think that was probably why she decided to give her the belt. Besides having the Money in the Bank briefcase, she had the Money in the Bank briefcase, so it was just like, give me the briefcase and I'll just hand you the belt. Like, I can't fight you because I'm pregnant.
I feel like once Becky Lynch's kid is at least 1, I don't know how old their kid is now, but once he's 1, all bets are off and she'll probably be on her way back because that first year is like the most pivotal year.
Wait, I'm sorry. You're not thinking that the fans are back. Wait, I'm not sure yet. But I'm not sure if the Thunderdome is officially over and that Raw is also going to be in front of the crowd.
Thunderdome's done. They're going back.
Okay, so I'm calling it right now. Becky Lynch is coming back on Monday. They're at this point. They're pulling the trigger on everybody.
I don't know about that. I don't know about that soon. I feel like if you want to, even if she did come back recently, I think it would be at a.
I think she had her baby in like February, so 6 months seems pretty darn.
6 months? Oh no, I see Becky Lynch coming back at Royal Rumble in that case.
Really? 2022?
No. Yeah, 2022. Because I was like, if her kid is only 6 months, nah, she ain't coming back yet. Now I think that there were some pictures that were online somewhere of her training. Like, she's probably getting back in shape to lose her mom bod and all that stuff and be ready. But nah, she ain't coming back yet. If her kid's 6 months, she ain't missing no first steps to her kid for no WWE. Nah. Because I'm just speaking as a parent, I ain't missing no first words and walking for no fans. I'm sorry. I love the fans, but I'm like,
fair enough. Wherever they probably live will probably be wherever she comes back. Like, I don't know where they live right now. I don't know if they still live in Florida, but like as they're on tour, when they stop in Florida, I'd be like, hey, just give her a phone call. I'll be there in 20 minutes and just show up. Like, hey guys, because you're saying that like she can't just show up. It doesn't mean that she can't.
Yeah, she could show up. Just show up. But I don't see her like winning a title or being like away from her kid.
I'll put it to you like this.
I put 1 year old on that. Not until the kid is at least 1.
I will say that my prediction for her is she'll be coming back at least this summer, if not on Monday, and she'll probably have a match, probably by Survivor Series. Maybe not SummerSlam, unless they really like pushing it. But Survivor Series.
I definitely don't want to see. I'm getting sleepy even just mentioning it. Definitely don't want to see Charlotte and Becky Lynch again.
I'm sorry, you didn't know that she's fighting for the title on Monday. On Sunday.
I know that, and I'm hoping that Charlotte Flair loses. Charlotte Flair is awesome. She has done a lot of shit in her career already. She's gonna be she's already a huge future Hall of Famer. We know that already. It's almost like MGK when he was talking to Eminem. Yeah, and we know you're the greatest. Like, put down a pen. Like, it's the same thing. Like, yeah, Charlotte, we know that you're awesome and all Like let Rhea Ripley and the other women have their shine and bring her back later. I think the only wrestler who seemed to get the hint about letting the new people kind of try to take over is John Cena. He seems like the only one that was like, all right, if y'all need me, like you could just, I'm a phone call away. I could be here to help the division. I'm be over here, but let all the other people have their moments to shine.
I feel like John Cena is the next opponent for whoever wins the Universal title between Edge and Roman. He's the next opponent. Most likely, he's the next opponent for now. I'm gonna say this right now. I feel like Edge is gonna lose for the Universal title against Roman.
We didn't go to we didn't pick for the women. I mean for the women.
Oh, for the Money in the Bank, yes. Before we get there. For the women, who's our contestants?
We got Zelina Vega, you got Asuka, you got Naomi, you got Alexa Bliss, you got Nikki Cross as her new superhero persona. You got Liv Morgan, last surviving member of the Riot Squad. You got Natalya, and you got Tamina.
My winner for that is Zelina Vega.
Okay, that would be something new. That would be like, okay, let's see where they go with this. I'm gonna go Alexa Bliss. that's what I think. I would say
popular opinion has been Liv Morgan because people have been gravitating towards her because her being the last surviving Riot Squad member. So people have been kind of getting behind this, Liv mania that is starting to sort of simmer a little bit.
Now, I feel like I'm not usually the one of the two of us that says this, but I'm gonna say that the Riot Squad was one of my favorite groups, and WWE literally destroyed them. I think that Liv Morgan is on borrowed time.
She's blonde, dude. Come on, she's got blonde hair.
Like Liv Morgan is literally, they're trying to find stuff to do with her, but I feel like and sorry, Liv Morgan, if you see this, I love you. You're awesome. She's also from Jersey, so woo. But I feel like if they do another release, Liv Morgan's name is on that list because they're trying. They're almost like they had the story they did with the Iconics when they had what's the name, like here's my resume. Like they're trying to fit her places
Billy
now.
Kay and Peyton Royce, yeah.
Yeah, they eliminated her group. She was part of a. You know what? That would be like firing Biggie and Kofi Kingston. Okay, cool. Now what do you do with Xavier Woods? I'll wait. So it's the same thing. So I feel like hopefully maybe. Fingers crossed. That would be dope if she won and got a chance to fight for the title at least once.
That's what I'm saying. It's sadly not to get onto the WWE bash them down train, but if they do let her win, it'll be once again for the 15th time the storyline of I've been waiting 15 years for this opportunity, and it's like. You WWE, listen to me. Do you realize the fact that that's not a good thing that your wrestlers are always fucking waiting to try to go and do something? Because when it happens, the wrestlers look at Braun Strowman. When he got the title, we were like, yawn. Why? Yeah. Because 3 years before when he was fighting Brock Lesnar, that would have made more sense.
Yeah. And when he was red hot and we wanted him, that's when we wanted it to happen. But
we're not going to do it on your time. It's our show. It's like,
they do that too often. They do that way too often. But
look what's happening with Drew McIntyre. Drew McIntyre is on this whole train of they're doing whatever they can to try to keep him in the title picture. Because if not, then what is he gonna do? Go fight? He feuding with Jinder Mahal right now. No disrespect to Jinder Mahal, but where's that going? Where's it gonna go? There's not really much. There's a history with those two.
And I'm going to tell you right now, segueing into who I think is going to win the men's Money in the Bank. I don't think that Drew McIntyre is going to win that because I think that Jinder Mahal somehow is going to interfere in that match and cost him his opportunity, which will probably wind up with Drew McIntyre versus Jinder Mahal at SummerSlam. That's okay. They did a little work there, but But I think who I would want to win, I got two people. who I would want to win Money in the Bank is actually John Morrison. I actually would hope John Morrison, one, John Morrison would win Money in the Bank, and two, they would have him become like, they would change his gimmick and have him be more serious. Finally break away from the Miz, because you know they've done this shit like way back when they first started, right? Like, and just have John Morrison be way more serious, and like, because that's another. I always look at John Morrison and I think, here's another wrestler with a lot of wasted talent, like Aleister Black. John Morrison is a dope wrestler. They don't use him. They use him as a court jester, basically.
Yeah.
And my second choice, Ricochet. I'm going Ricochet or John Morrison. Those are the two guys that I would want to win.
I love your enthusiasm. I would completely bet 100% against both of those odds because both of those two are jobbers.
That's what I'm saying. That should not be the case.
My two picks for that.
Wait, now you know, because we watch. Sorry to cut you off. You know, because we both watched this shit since we were 5. You've seen Ricochet in the ring. You've seen John Morrison in the ring doing the twirl. Fucking, what the hell is his move? The shining star shit that he does off the top rope.
Yep.
These guys are fucking like dope as shit, and they're jobbers. Why?
They got nothing for them. All they're doing is, like, each week on Raw now, those two have been fighting each other, ironically, and all they've been doing is see how far they can jump out the ring.
Yeah, let's see who can jump out the ring. Who can injure who? So who can injure who before they release one of us?
So, it's funny you say that. Go back and watch the last John Morrison and Ricochet fighting again this week. And
actually, I think I did see that one. Was that the one where Ricochet jumped off onto the ladder on him?
I don't remember that segment. I think the one I was thinking of is when he jumped outside. He caught him because he almost hit his head on the fucking barricade. And I'm like, let's just keep doing that and paralyze these guys and waste their talents, because they, instead of them fighting Sheamus for the U.S. title where something matters or being in a real storyline, they're running around while the Miz is basically healing up. But because the Miz likes to make money, he's still on TV just rolling around, squirting little water guns and shit. I'm like, all right, man, like, you know what? It's all
Talk about a guy who always can keep himself relevant, even in a wheelchair. Dude, this guy is...
That dude can keep a paycheck coming in all the time. Like, I've seen his house on the Miz and Mrs. show with his wife and kids, and you can see based on his house, he likes to have those checks coming in from WWE.
Okay, so how about your choice for Money in the Bank men's?
So 2 choices that I have. I'm gonna give you what I would prefer is a Shinsuke one. That's Markell's preference.
Yeah, okay.
But I know he's not. Yeah. So my two choices that I would choose if I was picking them out of where they would go with it, Matt Riddle, because for some reason they have a hard on for this guy. I don't know why, but they got some kind of hard on for him all of a sudden. And kudos to him. He's a cool dude.
I mean, he's literally this generation's RVD.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, minus the high flying, because he's not that much of a high flyer. He can do a little bit of stuff, but not like
minus his gimmick is annoying, and RVD was cool. Sorry, that's what I mean,
but he has that whole surfer board bro type thing. That's what RVD thing kind of was.
I'll call him exactly what I've called him in the past. To me, he is a like younger brother to Jason Mewes. Like, that's what he looks like. He's like a younger brother of Jason Mewes.
Like, hey, man, I want to be famous too. Maybe I could like fight. But
hey, man, stay over there.
He's like a retired kickboxer, so he'll kick the shit out you.
Oh yeah, I know. Like, no offense. I got no beef with him. Please don't kick me in the head when you see me on the street. But it's either him or Let me go back to who's in this match. John Morrison, Ricochet, Matt Riddle, Drew McIntyre. Oh, Seth Rollins. Those are the 2 people.
And Kevin Owens. And Big E. Big E's also in it.
You want to talk about, okay, so there's 8 people, right? You want to talk 4 people who ain't got a chance in hell? Big E, John Morrison, Ricochet, and what's his face?
Seth Rollins.
No. I believe Seth Rollins and Matt Riddle have the greatest chances, in my opinion, of winning this. One, because for some reason, once again, somebody's got another hard on for Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns fighting at some point. Like, I don't personally care. In my opinion,
we don't need to see that anymore. The Shield's over, dude. Like, let's just move on.
I feel like, though, like, they teased it a little bit one time when he, like, because just recently he was talking smack with Edge. So my thought process would be Seth Rollins goes in and wins. He tries to cash in Money in the Bank when Edge is about to beat Roman. And in that process of trying to cash in on him, he gets like dumped over the top rope. Roman like spears Edge 1, 2, 3. Like that's that. And then it's going to cause a feud between Edge and Seth, but also Roman Reigns is like, hey, fuck you, I beat you kind of thing.
That smells like triple threat.
Yeah.
A triple threat match that we didn't ask for.
Yeah, everybody loves triple threats, right? No.
They love, you know what? This let me say this now. WrestleMania, we don't need no triple threat matches. They love bringing them triple threat matches at Mania. Like,
I want to say 3 years in a row. I want to say there was at least 3 years in a row that this for triple. I know when we went in 2019, when it was in Jersey, triple threat match for the women's title.
I'll say, please, no more.
Oh wait, this past WrestleMania, Edge, Daniel Bryan, Roman, triple threat. Like, it's just,
please.
Vince, we understand that you love 3 people being in the ring. We understand that. We don't know what your thing is with that, but it's not that exciting of a match because basically the same stuff happens. When the bell rings, whoever the bad guy is usually gets jumped by the two baby faces you have until those 2 baby faces cross paths, and then it's just like the match is almost like weirdly predictable. It kind of sucks. So if you notice, hey, you know who isn't doing a lot of it, and sorry for anybody who thinks that, you know, comparing the two is a bad thing, but I love them both. AEW. Hey Ronnie, when's the last time you seen Triple Threat? There was one at the last pay-per-view like 2 months ago. But then before that.
But they don't, as you would say, they don't beat a dead horse with it.
Beat that horse down.
Now we got, was it 2 more segments? 2 more matches. We got the Raw champions, AJ Styles and Omos versus Viking Raiders. Do we even care who wins this match?
I'm gonna tell you right now, I don't have that in my notes because I don't care. But you can make a prediction.
And then the kickoff show, because they ain't even good enough to be on the main show, even though somebody in this match is definitely a legend. Rey Mysterio and his son versus the Usos for the title. Now this could potentially be a fucking amazing night for the Usos and Roman if they all win it.
I didn't even know that match existed. I'm just be real.
That's going to be the kickoff show match. But if the Usos beat Rey and Dominic, they will be champions, and so will Roman. Especially now that they're all on the same page. So, I mean, that's what we wanted. That's kind of what we wanted like a year ago. But I mean, you know.
Well, Jimmy was injured, so we couldn't get it exactly.
That's
time
true.
We wanted, but those tag team matches, there's gonna be winners. It's like, it's like there's nobody to defend the title. All they're doing is every match somebody's just passing it on, and then it's so sad to the point where both in the men's division and the women's division, they have to just keep making new tag teams. Like, I could have sworn they put somebody with Liv Morgan recently. I can't remember. Was it Zelina Vega or somebody? Like, I think they just put them together, just like, hey, here, just come on, just be a tag team, like, make it happen. Like,
hey, I mean, we fired the real tag teams. Now we gotta try to force people to be together.
It's all right. If I have to choose on both of those, I believe the Usos will win, and then I believe that because AJ Styles has something in his contract that makes it so that he can't lose that often, because this dude for the last year has lost like less than 5 times, and has fought on like every Raw. So I don't know. I don't know what's in his contract, but he don't lose that much. They're starting to try to put almost in and they put him in a match against one of the Viking Raiders, which is kind of a squash match, but whatever. I guess they haven't figured out yet that this guy seems like he sucks, so he's not really proven our assumption of him any wrong. No offense to the guy, but
he's not the most.
He's been standing around being the bodyguard for all this time, and then all of a sudden he's now the tag team partner, and then he's a tag team champion. It's
almost, I hope I never see this guy in person after saying this. Like, sure, I'm truly a fan. I'm truly a fan, my man. But he kind of almost seems like Bad Bunny in the sense like, were you just security for WWE? And then they said, hey, you want to be in the storyline? And he said, oh, that would be dope. And they said, yeah, we could put you in the tag team titles with AJ Styles. Or they said, do you want to, who's your favorite wrestler? And he said, AJ Styles. We'll do you one better, Osmos. We'll have you first be his bodyguard, then you'll team with him and win the titles. How does that sound? Oh my God, you guys are amazing. This is a dream come true. Because I don't see him, do you even see him continuing to be a wrestler on his own whenever him and AJ break up and they're not the tag team champions anymore? I don't really see him.
Maybe he'll be the next Batista. Maybe.
With some training and mic work.
Yeah, I mean, see, that's the sad thing is that, when it comes to guys like that, we haven't seen enough of them, even in their little tag team matches where he's fighting in like people like Braun Strowman and Samoa Joe and big guys like that have shown us that the big man can be more than just the giant, just hit people. It's funny that both Omos and
do with the great what was his name? The Great Khali.
Yeah. Fighting in that giant style is kind of boring, so you need a little bit some type of pizzazz to get over. Now, because of people like the big men and you see around Lance Hoyt, Murder Hawk Monster in AEW, you see these guys doing stuff like moonsaults and stuff, and it changes the dynamic of the giant wrestler. So when you come in there and it's people are hitting you and nothing hurts you, it's just it's not really believable.
No, not anymore. Nah. That was when we were kids. That was when Andre the Giant. And it's oh my God, he can't move this guy. That was believable. But now,
here's one other thing before we move on with those two particular guys. One is Dijakovic, which is the guy that's now Commander Aziz with Apollo Crews. And that's not the same guy. What?
They're still carrying around the giant Q-tip.
Yeah, well, yeah, he's got the giant Q-tip, the metal Q-tip, and he's walking around with a freaking a Discount Party City in Bison jacket on.
I will say that I'm happy that Apollo Crews finally gets a chance to be in the spotlight. I am happy for him for that, but I'm just not 100% sold on his gimmick. It's it needs some tweaks. If they tweaked it up, first off, they got rid of the dude that's with him. They got rid of him and put him solo somewhere, and and he dropped. I don't know if the accent is real or not. I don't know, but if it's not, just have a drop it and just be like Bobby Lashley, man. Just be yourself, Bobby Lashley. I feel like if I was a fly on the wall, I just see them telling Bobby Lashley to do a bunch of gimmicks like that, and him looking at him.
Nah, man, we ain't doing that.
And they're just oh, okay, all right, let's just do it.
Wait, did you see him on Raw past week?
Oh, yeah, I saw that. Yeah, he was about to chip MVP up. It's
I'm sick of these games.
Yeah, that was
Kofi's ass.
That was the only segment I did see. Yeah, he was I lost to Xavier Woods.
Damn, you make Xavier Woods seem like garbage. It's not even.
Nah, Xavier Woods is the man, and he stepped his game up a lot in the last few years of especially in the ring. He's always been good on the mic and other stuff, but
the New Day is still my go-to guys that have been around for years, that they're fun to watch. They're entertaining on their promos. but also they throw on a hell of a match. You
Yeah,
tell me,
always got Kofi Kingston always throws some jabs when he on the mic. Something he always throws. I'm like,
he's good, man. Like I don't.
Yeah, he always wound up saying something that make you be like, oh shit.
Do you see him beating Lashley on Sunday?
Nah, I don't see it. Only because, I mean, if you've been watching wrestling as long as we have, only reason I don't see him winning is because Lashley right now is a cash cow. He's another Brock Lesnar where they can make a fuck ton of money off Bobby Lashley as champion. I mean, they could off Kofi too, but like with Lashley never having the title before and him having this run, I'm like, they're gonna continue that. If he loses, it'll be at SummerSlam. If he loses anytime soon.
The two of the people, like, because literally at this point, WWE has gotten to a place before we move on to movie and TV. The funny thing is that both Raw and SmackDown are basically like carbon copies of one another. But it's interesting to see Roman Reigns and Bobby Lashley as the champions because those two seems like they would have very interesting war of words because they're both giving off these personas right now that feel very much like them. Like personally, like they're both giving off that like this is what would happen if you was really talking to these guys on the streets. And like maybe they're really nice guys, but at the same time, if it came down to it, where it's just like, man, Roman, get out my face. You just like tried to mush him or something. Like it seems like you would have a problem. Or Bobby Lashley.
If you tried to mush Roman, you'd wind up like stuffed in a locker or something. Like I don't think that's happening. You might want to. You know what? If you either one of them, Bobby Lashley, you know what you do? Spray some water on your hands, run up behind Bobby Lashley, and pow right in the head. But you better run, because if you jump. But here's the thing with Roman or Bobby Lashley. These guys are in the best shape of their life physically. So the chances of you even trying to run, that might not work out for you.
Before you run, they're gonna be in front of you, and their fist is just gonna come right at you like, oh shit.
Like, oh.
Okay. For this is the $10 million question. For $10 million, would you slap Roman or would you slap Lashley? Like full on, all the way, bring it from the south and bring it straight over to up to the north, straight across the face, Bobby Lashley, and then you can't run afterwards.
Oh no, okay. Neither one, man. I was about to say that if there's a crowd of people and I could run through the crowd, then yeah, either one.
Nah,
if I have to stand there after I hit him, I can't spend the money if I'm dead.
No. Here's the thing. They're not allowed to kill you. They can't retaliate. They could just like talk shit, but they can't hit you. So they can be like, oh man, I'm gonna tear you up. That's why I'm just asking.
You know what type of do you know, I'm thinking longer term. Do you know what kind of connections Roman Reigns and Bobby Lashley might have in their own personal lives? They can't touch me. Don't mean when I show up at my hotel that Jay and Jimmy ain't.
You're like, no. Yo, you gonna walk right through the door.
They'll get you before you go into your room. You go to turn the key, like, yeah, they said Roman can't touch you. They ain't say nothing about us. Oops. Oh!
No, you know what'd be funny? They'll do a segment like they'll do a segment where you be sitting there and you're in your room. I made it to my room. I'm safe. Man, I got $10 million. This is awesome. Room service, you go to the door. And they'll send some fucking like Tamina and Nia Jackson there, but like Upper Kelly,
you go to uncover the food and they under the table like get them.
Oh my God, he's like no, please, like yeah, and then they come to you and say like I can whoop your ass, or I can take this $10 million. You're like take the 10,
take that money, please.
I have kids.
Like I have a child, please. I have a child.
But that's all I have for wrestling. I'm looking forward to watching what the results are. Hopefully, you guys check out this video and like if our predictions are right, you can let us know in the comments below. But for now, we're now going to jump over to our last segment, but our biggest segment. But actually, I think about it. Before then, we want to take a moment here and send our condolences to the family of Biz Markie. Biz Markie, the great rapper, died at 57. He had some health issues for years, and then
like long-term health issues. Like
yeah.
For a long
it was
time.
Natural causes. It wasn't like he's a rapper, but like guys, not all rappers die in like some shootout or something or anything like that. Like they are human and they just have talent. So yeah, like he died of natural causes. So condolences to his family. What do you remember Biz Markie from?
I remember him. I want to say not only the original song, the "Oh Baby," but in terms of pop culture, I don't remember exactly the scene, but it was in Men in Black. He had a scene in Men in Black with Will Smith where he was doing that, and then he came out of nowhere and they showed the camera on him, and I'm like, this is Markie. And also, I have a real life story of Biz Markie. Biz Markie actually came to the AMC theater I used to work at.
Ooh, do tell.
Yeah, so it was very short and brief. He just came and it wasn't like, oh, and then he rescued me. No, it was like he came when I used to work in Elizabeth. He came to the theater one time and he was there with like some other friend watching a movie, and I like just got to stare from the sideline while they like with some of the other employees were serving him popcorn. I was like, oh, cool, Biz Markie. And he was really nice, he was really friendly, and that was it. Like, went on.
Cool. The scene that you're talking about in Men in Black was Men in Black 2, where Will Smith is trying to prove to Tommy Lee Jones that he is of his former life and that aliens exist and stuff. And then he turns around to Biz Markie that works in his job with him and starts doing the beatboxing, which is basically alien language. And then at that moment in time, he realizes like, holy crap, like this kid might be right. Like it might have had another life. So yeah, that was the scene.
I think it was like
so rest in peace for Biz Markie.
Biz Markie. And I gotta say one time, oh baby, you got what I need.
And he say he's just friend. I don't know any of the other lyrics. I'm so sorry that I don't know anything other than the chorus. Is there more lyrics to that song?
That wasn't like his only hit. He had another hit song too. It was something like, I don't remember exactly what it was. It was like, that's LL Cool J. I was gonna say I Need Love, girl, but I think that was
LL. I'll just say like, yeah, you got the wrong guy there. That's the lick lipping guy. Yeah, girl. It's like, yo, why you keep licking your lips? Like,
Chapstick, man. Vapors. That was the name of it. You called it
Vapors?
Yeah,
I remember Vapors. So finally, we after giving condolences to the late great Biz Markie, we get to our final segment, which is the Marvel segment. We've been dying to talk about the Marvel segment because amazing things happened. I'll just say it straight here. Spoilers right away. Kang is here, bitches. Kang is here.
Oh wait, no. Or He Who Remains.
He Who Remains. Dun. Funny enough, I don't know if you realize it, but He Who Remains in the comics is actually not Kang. It's another character called He Who Remains. Google it. Check it out.
He Who Remains. What? Yes. Well, look. In this version right here, he is who remains.
So what we are talking about here is the Loki season finale, which all of us. It's kind of weird that like the after credit scene like was like, oh, stamp, Loki will return in season 2.
Return in season 2. They're like, he's not gonna die, guys. He coming back.
It's funny because of the fact that like it is literally the season finale. It's not the series finale. It's the season finale. So it's like, well, that means it's gonna get another season. Like I think
this episode brought Loki and Sylvie finally to the Citadel. What is it called? The Citadel at the end of time.
Yes,
the Citadel at the end of time, as Miss Minutes.
Air Strong did her thing, man.
That was a creepy ass moment on that episode. So yeah, they finally got to find out who's behind the TVA.
Oh, you talking about when they open the door and then all of a sudden it's like Hey guys.
Yeah, Miss Minutes came out of nowhere. Like, what is you doing?
I want a T-shirt of just that creepy look in her eyes. Like, hey, he's just like,
whoa, hey. Yeah, but she
gave them a very interesting ultimatum at that moment. Do you remember what she said?
Yeah, she promised Loki. She was saying like, you know, you can have whatever you want. She was saying like, you want the throne at Asgard. You want to defeat the Avengers. Oh no, she said you want to defeat the righteous Avengers, and in the Battle of New York. She even offered him the Infinity Gauntlet so he could kill Thanos if he wanted. I'm like, wow.
And but Sylvie, you can have the laugh you always wanted.
Yeah, you can have the laugh you always wanted, which is kind of an asshole moment too, because they literally realize and know that they ruined Sylvie's life.
We can fix it, easy peasy.
Oh, but I got a nerd moment, even going way back before that, at the very beginning of the credits, and it's a totally different song, but it made me think of one song. The song that was playing at the very beginning, just because I watched the goddamn thing like 3 or 4 times. But there's a song, what the hell is it called? Something about time. There's the song that plays in the, wait, did I write it down? Oh, yeah. The opening sequence is the song that Steve Rogers and Peggy Carter was dancing to. But the ironic part about the song is called It's Been a Long, Long Time. I just thought that was ironic because when we get to Kang and we meet Kang, he said, I'm tired, y'all. Like, it's been a long time. So that was like, that's weird that they put a fucking connection like that together.
And we know we've been on the 6-episode journey with Loki and Sylvie as they've been going. And Sylvie has been going for over 100 years trying to evade the TVA and find out where this person is. So, they finally get to that. They turned down Miss Minutes in her offer to basically give them a different life if they just walk away. But they decide to proceed forward, and they are greeted at the elevator by none other than Jonathan Majors, who is going to be, as we already know, will be playing Kang in future movies. And the movie he's going to be in is the first movie he's going to be in is Quantumania, Ant-Man and the Wasp. So
you know what I loved about his introduction? I love the fact that first off, we found out that it's just a regular dude, which Loki is like, Loki is like, wait, you're just a man. Like that's the first thing, which is hilarious. And then second, when they're in the elevator, it's almost like breaking the fourth wall, because Jonathan Majors says, I hope I'm not a disappointment. And it's like, you think about it, that was like kind of to everybody who's been speculating and waiting. It's like, I hope the reveal was worth it or whatever.
I agree. That's definitely a meta moment where they're talking to the audience as well as which for me, if anybody knows some of the most dangerous people, whether it be good guys or bad guys in stories or animes or fiction of any kind, some of the most dangerous people are the ones that are either very calm or people who are very sort of chaotic, like he was in that sense, because they're overconfident. Like he's really confident. Think about that scene in the elevator you just spoke about. He literally was standing with his back turned to 2 people with blades in their hand.
Yeah, and he was eating the apple. He was his focus wasn't even on them. It was on eating the apple.
He has no. Now we find out later on the simple fact that basically it seems as if the Marvel scripts have leaked, and this guy is the ultimate fanboy who has all the leaked scripts to all the Marvel movies on TV shows up until this point. So now we know he's just skipping through the script like, what are you about to? Okay, you're gonna say don't do. Yeah, that's what you're gonna do. It's like, oh, this guy has the script. Like, where did he get it? This guy, it must be really good friends with Kevin Feige. We don't know, but apparently he is. He makes the joke about some people call me a conqueror, some people call me a ruler. Like those are kind of
people even call him a jerk. I think
people call him a jerk.
And for me, that was another meta moment, because I felt like when he said some people call me a jerk, I think he was saying like maybe some fans that might have watched that and they were disappointed, like, this is it, like, because those people might be like, this is whack. like some people call me a jerk.
There was some division on this. Like I know we're talking about it, but when I looked online, there was some division on. I will say, just speaking for myself, but I also speaking for people I think are like-minded with me. I think that the people who really enjoyed this moment are the people who are looking forward to the new things to come. We didn't know that this was going to be the birth of the the Marvel multiverse, but the people are looking forward to them opening the doors to everything else that we already know as like comic fans and fans of like the books and all the original doctrine that we've been reading for our entire lives. So that seemed to me more so like this. If you really pay attention to this episode, majority of this episode is them sitting at a desk. Like this felt really very like filmed during the pandemic time because there's really who's in the room.
But to me too, it also had a very creepy vibe too because I'm just thinking like for me, like I don't know if it's just because I'm a writer myself, but for me, I thought it was very well done because we're completely oblivious to what happens next. Like we're like there was no indication of nothing. Like, like we know it ends and Loki winds up in the wrong time and that happens. But in terms of like everything Jonathan Majors or He Who Remains told us, it's like he told us some scary stuff. And now you gotta wait to see. That's why when I was talking to you earlier, even before we did the show, I said, yeah, someone's gonna die. Because I believe that whatever the actual, like when we get to the actual Kang the Conqueror with the helmet, because we saw the statue, he was actually wearing the suit. So I'm like, when we get to that version, I feel like now we're going to go from 0 to 100. We saw the good version that tried to give them an ultimatum. Now we're going to see the guy who ain't going to ask no questions. He just doing stuff. So I feel like something catastrophic is going to happen for the good guys going forward in the MCU.
I agree. So let's unpack it for people who, may have watched it already and, are okay with the spoilers, or they haven't watched it. And again, once you get okay with the spoiler, I would say that the way that Kang or He Who Remains broke it down, which is his role is basically he is the Kang who after discovering at some point in time in history, after discovering the multiverse.
His first self. What is it? He said one of the first versions of himself from Earth,
which is him,
from the 31st century.
No, he's from the 31st century. He's the first. He's the first one.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
He discovered other multiverses that were on top of his,
and then with other Kangs basically were discovering that at the same time. That's why I was saying, well, can't we just go to the beginning and shoot this motherfucker before he discovers shit?
It's hard to say, because
go back right before he about to discover it and kill this motherfucker.
No, well, see, I'll debunk that theory because it won't work only because you cannot kill one guy in a multiverse and make it so that the other multiverse people won't discover it. All it'll make it is that he won't be the first. Other Kang would essentially be the first, and then
send somebody to every single multiverse at the same time. All right, we got to be precise with this. Shoot this motherfucker, and then we go. And then we go.
You got to even know where the hell it is to be even.
Oh yeah, that's true. So yeah,
you got to literally have 1 million people already at the arm, ready to go. Okay, ready, shoot, and then they all snipe them, and it's like we have. Or hey, here's an easier idea, Roddy. Maybe we do what Tony Stark did, and we get the gauntlet, and we just snap Kang out of existence. Ta-da! Yeah, now, I swear to God, if it ends like that, I'm going to be so mad. Like, no, you beat another major villain with a snap. This is ridiculous.
I don't see Marvel repeating themselves. They'll think of something else. I think that's why I keep saying that it's genius in the sense that this multiverse stuff takes us to Ant-Man, Doctor Strange, and Spider-Man. 3 very smart heroes. I'm like, it's genius. Like it's like
it is.
And somewhere within those movies and all that time, we're also going to see Bruce Banner and some of the other smart people. We might even see Reed Richards. Who knows?
So what it seems to me like, so going back into the episode, just kind of taking people along the journey before we get to speculation of what the creation of the multiverse, which is what happened at the end of this episode, is. So basically, in a nutshell, Sylvie and Loki sit down with this guy. He explains what he's been doing as basically the real timekeeper. He made up the timekeepers. The timekeepers are fake. Spoilers. They don't exist. There's no three lizards. He's just really, made them up to create a sense of bureaucracy. And then
he really did take people from different time periods also and brainwash them.
Correct. So in order to, balance the scales, he basically killed, took care of the other Kangs. But the way that he won what was considered the multiversal war, which what occurred before, was that he went to Alioth, which was pretty much all of this negative energy that was coming from all of the different multiverses. And he used Alioth to basically sort of swallow things whole. So he created the TVA, went around and pruned all the other multiverses, dumped them off in the void, and Alioth basically just ate them.
Now, another thing, since you mentioned Alioth, I was also thinking when he said that, I was like, I wonder if at some point, is that the source to beating Kang? Like, like he said, that's how he did it. So I'm like, I wonder if they literally told us how the good guys can beat him. Like, like this evil Kang, they'll have to go back and maybe, do the same thing, cipher the energy.
Well, keep in mind, there is more than one evil Kang that we're going to be messing around with, which is very interesting. But yeah, so I see what you're saying. You're saying, did they just tell us how he...
just like in the comics, we're probably going to get the Council of Kangs.
Correct. The thing is that it feels like you're right in this. You could be right in the sense that in telling us how he created the singular timeline, it seems like he gave us a way that he was able to do this. Now, at the same time, I don't necessarily agree with his way of doing it because it leaves us with a lack of free will. Basically, if you combine all the multiverse into a singular time stream, as it's been, you basically put only one version of everybody into one universe, and you basically set yourself up for that. At any point in time, the person who is keeping this all together could die, and then all of a sudden, the multiverse is back out again. So, in my opinion, I kind of feel like the multiverse has to exist. We just have to find a way to find peace throughout the multiverse. Like that's what we have to do.
Good luck with that.
It's gonna be very hard to do.
Because I'm gonna say that because when I think of that, like how's that going for us here in America? Yeah, we have to find a balance of peace. Like, yeah, you see how that works around the country.
I will say in going to that conversation for a moment, I will say that the one thing that has been very true about the country that we live in right now, just speaking as an American, just like you, what has been true is that we have not been overtaken as many other civilizations like us have been beforehand. So there is something about...
Look, I'm a knock on wood.
Correct. The thing that has kept us from that situation is that we have formed things like the UN and the Alliance, which allows less people, like, going through a little anthropology, quick 10-second lesson.
Gotta push
my glasses. A quick anthropology lesson for you this is very simplified, so please, all of you historians out there, don't come for me. If you want to, I don't care, write the comments or whatever. But pretty much human society has been, let's create a civilization where two people have a civilization. There's a civil war, the two people fight, one of the strongest people wins, or the most clever or most dangerous person wins. The other person goes away, and what they do is they go and they partner up with somebody, come back, overtake that person. Then those two people form a new civilization. Then they have a civil war. They beat the person, they go away, they come back with somebody stronger, they overtake that civilization. That has been the same thing over and over again.
Which is funny because that's actually the same thing with the Kangs, if you think about it.
Yeah, it's like a constant, like, over and over, like, thing. So then before we got into a civil war before, it was like, okay, whoa, hold on. Before you go away and go join up with all of these other like countries, we're going to befriend these other countries that you're going to go knock on their door to come fight us. And we're going to give them stuff so that when you go knock on their door, they might blow your head off. So, that's kind of the thing. Or they'll go, oh, we'll help you. And then you walk over to us and say, yeah, my boy is over here. He go, oh, now you got knocked upside the head because that other guy is already friends with him. That's anthropology in a nutshell. That's it. Or human society. But that's also, in talking about the multiverse, I think the big thing for me that I'm most excited about is that not only does it feel like they found a very creative way to talk about the story of Marvel Studios or the birth of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, in a way that is basically, again, in a nutshell, for Marvel's story, they sold a bunch of their properties off to other big companies when they were dying out. Then somewhere down the line, they got bought out by a bigger company called Disney. Disney came to them and said, here's my blank check. Please go back and get all the people that you want.
Disney came and were like, come with me if you want to live.
Yeah. Or they're like, take the red pill or the blue pill, and like if you take this one, this will take you to you can continue to be in obscurity, and like your company will just die out. If you join me, we will go on a journey. We'll make billions of dollars, and we'll give you $4 billion for your company. Come on over here with us. And since then, their movies, they've made at least 24 movies, including Black Widow, and their movies have grossed somewhere in the ballpark of like $35 to $40 billion. So I think this and that's year, just box office.
This year, though, I don't think, Marvel's been like, it's crazy that I'm quoting rappers here. But I think the Migos said, like, it's not a pandemic, it's a bandemic. I mean, like, Disney has been on a roll this year with the movies and the TV shows. Like, we got Black Widow, Eternal, Shang-Chi, Loki, Wanda. I don't think that this has to be like one of their most successful years, like out of all the, like, I mean, maybe not the most successful, but like the most content that they've dropped on us in a single year has to be like some kind of record.
You're right that I believe that this is the most amount of content without a break, with very little breaks of coming up for air. Literally, we're sitting in a pool of content, and they just keep pushing their head up, and you kind of go like,
because I feel like normally we would only get like in a normal. I feel like we would have gotten like WandaVision and Black Widow. That's what we would have gotten in 2021, and then next year we would have got Falcon and Winter Soldier and and Eternals. But this year, they're like, nah, homie, we gonna. They're like, take that.
Well, this for me, in my theory of that is there's three reasons I think that happened. No particular order. One, pandemic, because basically the pandemic pushed all of this content that would have come out in 2020 together within 2021. That's one. The second is a lot of the content that we have gotten from them, if you've noticed, has been a lot of Disney Plus. They still gotta make their money on Disney Plus and get those subscribers to watch, because hey, look, you need those people you need people signing up for this service, paying that premium price.
Black Widow was a beast, man. Black Widow almost made $100 million on Disney Plus alone, and then it did really well in movie theaters. That's because that's probably because of the vaccine and everything else getting better, So
I would say the other thing too is that the other third thing is the fact that they are not in this streaming war alone. This is a war. So you got Paramount Plus, you got Discovery Plus, you got HBO Max, you got fucking. There's so many, like, you got so many different streaming services that are pumping out content. Oh, don't let me forget Amazon Prime. Like, all of these guys are pumping content. So you are constantly have to figure out a way to keep me from going, look, I'm looking at the camera here, and it's like, oh, what is HBO Max? So get your ass back over there to Disney Plus. Like, wait, what? I was watching that, and then you're like, oh, wait a second, they doing Tomorrow War? Amazon, get your ass back over there. That's what you got to keep doing. So it's like you got to keep shelling stuff out in order to keep that attention span.
And it's almost like a horror movie because they get you no matter where you go. You could literally go to the store. You can literally go to the store for a loaf of bread at like Target or Walmart, and like the cashier might be like, "Would you like to, for $3.70 more, you could get a free trial of Disney Plus for a month." And you're like, "Wait, what? I'm just here for some bread. What?" like that's what we going these days. Like what?
I went to go buy some ice cream for my kids, and I got 6 months of Disney Plus.
Well, like, what was it when I bought my 4K Apple TV? I told you, like, as the lady was handing me my receipt, she told me like, "Oh yeah, and you got your and you get your 1 year free subscription from Apple TV." And I was like, "Wait, what?" I'm like, automatically? They're like, "Yeah, take it." They're like, "Take it. We don't care if you don't want it. Take it." Like, I wonder if somebody would face me out the door like, "Take it."
Please take it. I can't not give it to you. Please just take it. But I mean, that's a big part of it. You're right that there's almost like the next thing that we're sitting here now that there's like, this is the first week coming up where we're literally sitting here like Wednesday, and it's like, "Hello, darkness, my old friend." You're just looking like, what do I watch?
You don't have to wait that long. I mean, we have what do you call it? What If coming soon from Disney. So
What If is in about 3 weeks. So we got like at least a good month.
And then speaking of the streaming services, not to move away from Loki, but we also have He-Man coming up on Netflix.
So they're giving you the break you need to be able to go and enjoy those other things. Like, all right, go watch 5 episodes of that, but come back here.
But it's it's also a good break too, because it's like, okay, for those who don't know who Kang the Conqueror is, which is probably 50% of the audience, there's like 50% that do, 50%. The same thing I can remember like it was yesterday when the first Avengers.
Wait, let me do it. So you mean like when he was in the chair and he's like,
yeah, he turned around and half of my coworkers were like, "Oh, who was that?"
Which is hilarious. It's like, that was Thanos. It's like, oh, okay, he's
yeah. So
here.
like, I know some people, when that elevator opened and Jonathan Majors came out eating the apple. Now imagine yourself not reading comics and you just joined. Oh, somebody told you, "Yo, WandaVision and let's say WandaVision and Falcon was your first entry into Marvel." And you said, "Okay, I'm gonna watch this Loki show too." When that elevator opened, you don't know who the fuck this. You really didn't know who the fuck this guy was. You were like, okay, he's dressed in a purple cloak. Is he the Pied Piper? Is he who the fuck is this guy? I don't know.
So what at the same time, since we're all in the streaming wars as casualties as well as participants, you have him from Lovecraft Country. He just died in Lovecraft Country. Spoilers. And now all of a sudden he appears over here. It's just 2 characters from Loki that are from Lovecraft Country.
We got to talk about that for a second because you brought it up. HBO Max, bruh. How do you cancel Lovecraft Country? And they got nominated for 14 Emmy nominations. Like, how do you cancel? Like, the first season was awesome. Like, I don't know like all the behind the scene logistics, but from my perspective, I don't understand. Like, I
have a theory on that show. I have a theory that show from HBO Max, because it seems like Warner Brothers as a company has been doing this recently in the last couple of years. Let me ask you a question. What happened to Swamp Thing, Ronnie?
I don't even want to talk about it, man. You gave me a great show.
But just tell our audience why Swamp Thing only got 1 season.
What was that? They said because of finance, right? Like, it was too expensive to make or something like that.
Correct.
Come on, HBO. It's too expensive to make.
No.
And they got money. I know who the parent company is. I'm just saying, HBO, man. HBO been around before my black ass was alive. You ain't sit here and tell me like we don't have the money. Like, come on, man.
What I'm saying is that it's not that they don't have the money. I'm gonna use the technical term. They're allocating it in order to go towards other proproperties.
Oh,
That's
gotcha.
That's the lawyer term. They're allocating it to go to other properties.
Gotcha.
Which, you got to remember, they have
which hood translates to, we don't want to spend money on that no more. We don't want to spend money on that no more. So we moving on.
So the proper allocation there is we have a Green Lantern show that's coming along that's going to cost a shit ton of money because this whole thing is just in space. So we have to constantly keep making these green little rings light up, and these purple rings, and these yellow rings, and these blue. We got to make this stuff light up.
What was it? The other dark something they have from J.J. Abrams coming? I forgot the.
So you also have to look at it this way. Warner Media, aka Discovery now, because AT&T, if anyone doesn't know the lineage right now, is within the last 2 years, AT&T bought Warner Brothers. Yeah. They took Warner Brothers and basically treated it like a child that they just adopted and said, I don't really like this. Discovery, you want this? It's like, sure. It's like, okay. Cool. Now they just sold it over there, and now they have this like weird hybrid baby of like Warner Media Discovery or what Warner Discovery. I think that's what it's called, Warner Discovery. And I'm like, okay, cool. What does that mean for all the other things? It seems to me that at that point in time, that's when they really started to really penny pinch and look at properties and go, oh, how much are we spending on that? Like they checking the bill, this is the bill, checking the bill, $80 million. Nobody paying no 80. Because imagine, think to yourself, how much, if you can imagine, how much do you think Lovecraft Country cost per episode?
Per episode? I want to say.
Because they didn't really have like great big stars, if you think about it. Like the biggest star was probably the father. The father was like the biggest star.
I was gonna say Journey. I was gonna say because she
don't cost that much. No offense to Journey, she's really cool.
You gotta remember though, she is a veteran in the industry. Like she been around.
Journey don't cost as much as that guy. I'm pretty sure. I'm trying to remember his name.
Maybe not as much as him, but I'd say it's probably up there. And you know what? Actually, I would say that she probably did get paid more than him because he died. Remember, like she was one of the main stars of the show.
Yeah. Wait, Michael K. Williams. Yeah, that dude's from The Wire. I'm pretty sure he getting way more money than she was. I don't know. Again, I'm not sure what they're but
I only say that because she was in the show a lot longer than him.
Okay, maybe maybe, but
I think her and Jonathan Majors definitely probably made the most money on that show.
You'll be surprised. Jonathan Majors has been like one of those guys who've been in a lot of stuff, but I was totally oblivious to Jonathan Majors. The first time I saw him, which was not even that long ago, was White Boy Rick. I don't know if you saw that movie, but that was literally my first introduction to Jonathan Majors. I didn't realize it was him, but he played I think he was like the drug dealer. He was like one of the neighborhood drug dealers or something. He was wearing like a nice mink coat or suede coat. Like he had him looking the part too, but like I didn't realize it was him until he starred in that show. And I was like, why does this guy look so familiar? And I was like, oh, that's right. He was in White Boy Rick. That was the movie with Matthew McConaughey. Yeah, I wanted to watch that. I got to check that. I wonder if that's on HBO Max or one of the streamers. Maybe. I have to check it out. It might be on one of the many streamers that we all have now.
Back to Loki for a minute, though. Yeah, I totally enjoyed it. And the TVA, turned out to be, He Who Remains, aka King the Conqueror. I'm excited for it. I remember the dialogue of him saying, if you want to see, you think you've seen evil, wait till you meet my variants. I'm like, those words, I swear that those words just keep going through my head as I keep watching where this journey takes us, because I feel like, man, we're gonna get to see Jonathan Majors pull a James McAvoy and do a bunch of different awesome performances of different variations of Kang. But two, I think, man, he about to fuck up the Avengers. He about to fuck up the Avengers, man. And then too, you got to think about it too. It's cool in the sense that he is on a level of Thanos in terms of villains in the Marvel Universe, but also it's the same as Thanos in the sense that other people don't know. You don't even know this guy's coming. It's just like Thanos in the sense that Loki's the only one that knows this guy is coming or here or whatever. So now he has to somehow warn other people, or they're gonna find out on their own eventually.
So here's also something else. I agree with you on the points that you're making about Kang and how dangerous and how unexpected he is, and we don't know exactly how he's going to show up in terms of like being dangerous and like what type of effects or what plans the other Kangs have for the multiverse. But here's the other big thing that I feel like is very very important to not miss in the expansion of the sacred timeline to the multiverse. One thing that the Marvel Cinematic movies have been lacking is strong villains. If we look at most of the villains in the MCU's villains from the beginning with Iron Man 1 have literally just been bad versions of the good guys. Like, look at Jeff Bridges. He was just he had the Ironmonger suit. He was just some dude in the suit.
No, I like Jeff Bridges. I thought he was a decent.
No, and I'm not saying that they were all bad. I'm just saying ultimately that's what they were. They weren't. We haven't had like world-ending villains until Thanos. But one thing that the Marvel universe has is a lot of villains. Like, think about all of Spider-Man's villains. Like, this Spider-Man is unaware of all these villains that exist out there, from Venom to Craven to Carnage to all of these different people. They have no idea the level of threats that are out there. Galactus, fucking Annihilus, the Queen of the Kree, like the full Kree army, and the Queens of the Skrulls.
What's his name too? Because he definitely needs a do-over. I don't know if you might have mentioned him already. Apocalypse. Like, yeah, there's so many
world-ending bad guys that are there.
Mr. Sinister.
Yeah, Mr. Sinister. The list goes on, and a lot of those people. It's again, that's what I said. I love that this whole multiverse thing seems very meta. It seems like a representation of where Marvel and Disney's relationship has gotten to. If anybody remembers, within the last 3 years, Disney once again handed a blank check to Fox and said, "Give me all of that, everything. Yeah, give it to me. All.
Yeah, let me do it properly. They did it. They said, "Oh yeah, that stuff looked good over there. That was ours anyway, right? Yeah. I'm gonna take that off your hands." They gave him a blank.
They pulled a Killmonger.
Yeah, they pulled a Killmonger. I'm gonna take that off your hands for you.
So now with the multiverse, this is what it seems like we're going to get a chance to see. We're not only going to get a chance to see other variations of these characters, but right within our 616 Earth, we're going to get a chance to see further expansion of the characters that we haven't met that are heroes.
But then I was going to say that if you flip it over, we're going to see how this multiverse affects other heroes in their timelines too, I'm sure. And Correct. That's probably what's going to bring some of those heroes together to fight against each other to stop some of this stuff.
You know what's funny? I didn't think about this until just now, but what if this thing has been planned out so far in advance that if you remember the after credit scene of one of my favorite Spider-Man movies of all time, Into the Spider-Verse, Spider-Man Miguel, aka Spider-Man 2099, in those end credits is going to go meet up with the other Spider-Man because there's some threat that's coming.
Hey, look at that. I literally just got this. If you can.
Wow, well, talk about this is unplanned at all. We didn't talk about this at all. Very good job. I have that one. But the funny thing is that if you go back and check it out, you can just go on YouTube. There is some type of threat that's coming that's making him have to go forward and meet up with these other Spider-Men. Could you imagine from an animated level if Kang is a problem over there? Like, this thing will go
like Spider-Man 2099. You know what would be awesome, and we're writing our own script here, is if all the rumors are true and we get Tobey Maguire, we get Andrew Garfield, we get Tom Holland, and let's say all that they all come together to help try to stop the multiverse, and let's say they do, and then the after credit scene is 2099 Spider-Man coming to Tom Holland because there's still some help that he needs.
Are you wait? Let me make sure I understand you correctly. Are you saying that it's possible that we could get you're saying that they could establish the universes as even if you're live action like we are right now, that you can cross over into the animated world as well, and the story continues. Like that's insane. Like
I keep thinking about it like Terminator. Like at the same time, like I remember I said before, like God, you don't know what villain this could unleash as well, but you also don't know what hero this could unleash. What hero steps through to this Earth, that we meet, or it's like, how the hell did I get here? Type of thing.
Two of the biggest questions I have about two hero teams that we know for sure that they're coming. They've got a logo, they've got a date, they've got movies that are coming out. Fantastic Four, which used to be Fox and is now full on Marvel in Disney, and the Eternals. These two teams are significant teams in Marvel history for the comics. And we need to, the biggest question that I need to have answered for me for both of those teams is, and the X-Men, let's throw the X-Men in there too. Where the fuck were you when this Thanos thing was happening? Where were you? Where was happening? Now, if you were created by this like sort of big bang that occurred because of the multiverse, okay, not a problem. Yeah, or you were in another dimension or something and you couldn't hit or maybe Eternals are set in a different time frame before the.
What did I tell you about the end of Loki? Did I tell you they were going to explain it to us and they were like Coming to America? We said, I'll tell you, the boy has his own money. Like,
he got his own money.
You don't think that Marvel is going to explain why Eternals weren't here? What? Come on, man. I'm just like,
I just need that answer. I know they will.
I'm just waiting for it so I can sit there like a little kid. Like, go ahead, tell me. Go ahead, tell me.
Just tell me. I just want them to just give it to and I'm okay with it. Like, I know we talked about it last episode, but I know that there were some people who had a problem with who Taskmaster turned out to be in the Black Widow world. Hey guys, this Loki thing kind of also fixes that as well, because that just means that, well, even in our world, there could be more than one Taskmaster. Like, it doesn't have to be like, there could just be like,
or there's a certain there's two. If you want to, this Taskmaster had technology and stuff that was helping her mimic people. They could easily say like, okay, the real Taskmaster had that technology. This guy stole it. Like, and we could be introduced to the real Taskmaster at some point down the line.
That's one option. The other option is very simple. The technology that was the Taskmaster program was developed based on their time working with the real Taskmaster. Like, it's a comic, guys. It's fiction. Like, why is it where you get something and you don't immediately get it right away? Where it's just like, oh, well, where's my? Let me just be very clear. Just like Kang, I know that there was a bunch of people that didn't know who the hell Taskmaster was until he came along in Black Widow. So all of a sudden, the being upset about him not being the guy that he was kind of makes it feels a little weird. Where it's like, well, again, the same way you could have wrote that guy in as just being a hired gun to go and kill them. Yes, I know. The real time, if you played the Avengers game for PlayStation 4, that yes, they did have Taskmaster in that game, and there was a real Taskmaster and all of that stuff. It's great. He's been in the TV shows. I know.
You'll get it eventually. Like, it's coming, dude. Like,
just hang on. It'll be there.
The same thing about Venom. Like, I'm not the greatest fan of the Tom Hardy villain. Venom. It's okay, but I say if they do cross it over, that'll be great, because I think it'll probably enhance it. If they don't cross it over, I still think that we'll somewhere down the line get anti-Venom or Agent Venom. We'll get some type of MCU Venom.
I was just about to say that. If I can have it my way, I would say just using the characters that you have right now in this Spider-Man Tom Holland universe, right? If I had it my way, I would still make the Flash Thompson that they currently have within here go off and become Agent Venom just the same way Flash Thompson did before. Because he's still the Flash Thompson, even though he's a different nationality. Sorry, guys, he's not just a blonde-haired white dude. He's Asian American. He literally can go off and have that same type of like, he's been a jerk all his life. He goes off to the army, something bad happens to him, like loses a leg, and then he gets introduced to the Venom program. It could be somebody as simple as like Valentina. Introduce them like, wow, you served your country.
You know how they'll do it. They'll have Valentina he'll be in a hospital bed and hand him an envelope or hand him a file, and the file says Venom program or something. You know how they like to do it. You're like, oh,
it's been written. It has been written. Like,
come on, man. I'm telling you, I know that too with the whole Valentina. When we finally understand I'm pretty sure it's gonna be like, oh shit.
I'm looking forward to all of the wonderful things.
Who knew that when we were kids, who knew that we would grow up and all this shit would become live action? I feel like we used to sit around dreaming that this summer. Wouldn't it be cool if they made like a movie with real people?
I'll be honest. I'm a comic nerd just like you, and I will say that I could not have dreamed of what we're getting right now. We just talked about it in this episode. We have an abundance, we have a ton of.
The multiverse opens endless possibilities because I'm already thinking like we might get Mahershala Ali as Blade, and we might get Earth 414 with Wesley Snipes as Blade. Like, we don't know.
all I know is I'm very excited about what's coming forward because I don't know what's coming forward. But can we
connecting that back for a second for you, especially with Mobius conveniently giving us dialogue like creatures, vampires, and then now the multiverses are open. Oh, okay.
Now the thing is that I just want to see like when they decide again. I'm gonna say with all confidence that I have full faith that the people at Marvel and Disney that they're going to give this to me because the one thing that I'm gonna share an Easter egg with you that I discovered after going back over the shows and looking at the dates and times for Loki. In Marvel Comics, what number are we labeled as this Earth? Like, what is this Earth?
Is our Earth 616?
That's correct. Now, if you go back to Loki, the episode that shows like that proves the fact that there is a multiverse, like the branching of the spikes when that happens. That episode aired on June 16th.
Oh, wow.
This is the level of detail that these nerds that are at Disney that we love and in Marvel that we love are taking into account. That is why I have full faith in what they're doing because they are literally taking this thing and sleeping with it, waking up with it, looking over it. Like, it's like they're taking good care of things that are like it's almost like the library in Doctor Strange where they had all of these books that were there that were like sacred books. It's like, okay, let me go and grab the sacred book off the shelf of the Young Avengers. I'm gonna read through this sacred document and I'm going to figure out a way to make it make sense in live action. Not that I want them to sit there and just go, let me flip the pages and just give you page for page of what you see. I'll give you some of the like classic pages. Like in Black Widow, there was a scene from one of Black Widow's comics recently that they actually brought to life. There was a scene where she's running down the hallway and everything is exploding behind her. She's shooting out the window so that she can jump through it without having to break through the glass. Hey, Dom Toretto, maybe you want to take advice from Black Widow that you have to break the window before you can. But anyway,
also another, since you were on the Black Widow subject, this might be nothing at all, but I was even thinking like in Black Widow, the beginning of Black Widow, it took place in Ohio. And then when they went to the school where they got the pen, it's in Ohio. So I was like, does Ohio have some type of significance that we don't know about yet too? Like, that's another thing I was like thinking about.
At the same time, I look at it and I go, wait, so Ravonna Renslayer, we find out, basically we find out that Ravonna Renslayer is aware of the whole variant thing and that we know her variant that lives in a different place is a school teacher. Now, here's the cool thing. We already know that there's a ton of young heroes that are coming. So we don't even know that somewhere along the line we could be looking at, I don't know, fucking Nova going to school or something, and it's like it's in Ohio, and she comes in like class, and we're all like spitting our drinks like, what? That's what like, yeah, that's the level of like nerded like that they're giving us, and I'm
because
here.
That too, like they definitely left us with more questions than answered in that Loki season finale. Like they left us with more.
A good season finale does that, yeah.
Yeah. Where did Ravonna go? What time frame is Loki? What's gonna happen with this? Like, is Mobius ultimately gonna get his jet skis? Because if he dies or he don't get them jet skis, I'm gonna be mad, man. He better get them jet skis at some point.
So just to sort of bring it on home with what happened in this episode. So what Loki and Sylvie discover is that basically he who remains, we can also call him Kang. Basically, I think of this as an analogy of Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. Okay, Willy Wonka's goal is to get some kid that will eventually come in and take over this time. Basically, he who remains is bored and is getting old and just kind of, very, very bored with this like concept of having to run the TVA and just do this one same simple job. So he realizes that the perfect people that might be good for this are the Lokis, because Lokis are survivors. Even in the void where Alioth lives, there are several Lokis running around surviving against one of the universe's most dangerous threats. They still are able to survive in a barren land of nothing. So coming to find out that he doesn't know whether or not they're going to accept the role, he basically says, hey, Charlie, aka Loki, would you come and like accept this factory, which is the TVA, and continue to run this whole thing so that more of me don't show up and cause another multiversal war? Sylvie's like, fuck that shit. I want to kill this guy because he's the one that like is in charge of TVA and has ruined my life.
Ruined her fucking life from a child. Don't even, she did not get to experience shit. Like, I don't even know, how old was she when they took her? Like, 12?
I would say 10, 11, like, 12.
10, 11, 12? So she didn't experience shit. She didn't experience the first kiss, date, PMS, nothing. Just nothing. Just
she was face to face.
Just been fucking Leonardo DiCaprio from what the fuck is that movie with him and Tom Hanks? Like, she was just running.
Catch Me If You Can, yeah. Basically, yeah.
She just basically been running since she was, a little kid.
All she knows is running, dipping, and diving. That's literally all she knows. I feel like with her, she proved herself with her actions in this show to be a Loki. If you think about Loki's decisions that he's made, like even after this and prior to this moment, the moment just within the same time frame of this show, if you go back to Avengers from 2012, the first one, there's a moment where there's little glimpses of Loki, the Loki that we got in this show. If you pay close attention, we've seen this Loki before. Most of the people are like, I'm big fans of Loki. I know this Loki. This ain't my Loki. We've got glimpses of this Loki in there. I'll give you one. In Avengers, he's fighting against Thor up on Avengers Tower, and there's a moment where he's literally wrestling and tussle with him, and Chris Hemsworth, aka Thor, yells at him, Loki, look at this. This is madness. Like, this is, he literally said madness. Like, this is madness. Like, this is what you wanted. You wanted to be king of this. And there's a moment, if you look at that moment, where he comes to the realization of like, oh shit, what am I doing? But,
I mean, even if you take it back to the first Thor, I mean, the scenes with his mom basically showed you this guy under all that, exterior, he has some emotion and feeling.
Yeah, in that sense, and let me be very clear. Everyone has their opinion of whatever is there. I am clearly just saying that I can see the old Loki, the real Loki within the show. That's all I'm saying. Whatever else anybody else sees within the show, that's up to them. But what I'm saying is that I feel like in this show, we got a chance to see for a longer period of time. By the end of the first episode, Mobius and the TVA bring that Loki front and center. And that Loki is the Loki that continues throughout this entire show. And if you even look at the freaking, like if you look at storytelling, you know this as a writer, a lot of times when you're looking at storytelling, when you see a person at a moment, usually in the beginning of the movie or beginning of the show, by the end of the show, if things didn't go that well, they literally will be back in the exact same place that they were before. Hey Ronnie, when Sylvie pushed him through the portal after she kissed him and said, like, you know, sorry, I gotta kill this guy. Screw you, screw this relationship. Boom, push him through to another time frame. Where did he land?
He landed right with Mobius and B-15.
Whoa! What?
The same people that he was with in the beginning.
Literally sitting back in the same place, having those moments of like, I tried to do the right thing, but then he went, wait a second, I have help. I have people that can go and help me, and came to the realization that we all were like, oh, wow. Sylvie unintentionally, I believe, pushed him into and teleported him out with the temp pad.
Yeah, I don't think
another time.
I don't think she meant to do that. I think that happened because she killed what's the name, Kang.
Well, I also think no. Well, I have a different theory on that. I think that she pushed him out into his world, and while he was sitting there, sort of sulking about his heart being broken and all this other stuff, what was actually happening right outside the door was the world was literally changing around him. Because remember, she didn't kill Kang. She pushed him through and then killed Kang.
But remember, everything was changing before that. Remember when he was first sitting at the desk and we heard all the noise outside, and then he was like, I can't, like he couldn't figure out what was going on. Up until a point, he was like, I knew everything, but up until now, I don't. I think that's when things were starting to branch off and change. So I think that's why when she pushed him through, it was different.
I agree. Yeah, it was like all of a sudden, they were in one zip code, and then by the time she pushed him through, there were 17 zip codes, and it was like, oh, I'm gonna push you into that one. It's like, oh shit, like I'm in a TVA, but I'm in a whole nother time frame in which the TVA is run not by the lie of the three.
Which is also gonna be a crazy mess to follow too, because you know that the real Mobius is gonna be trying to find Loki, and they gotta figure out how to do all that shit.
Correct. So now see that's beautiful, because you have Hunter B-15, and you have all of the people who are at the end of this show all went on to have all their own separate journeys. We don't know where Ravonna Rimslayer went. All she knows is that she's going to go find free will. We have B-15 with Mobius, who are both totally aware of everything that's going on, and B-15 has now informed the other variants that she was with of them being a variant. Like, look, that's not Judge Rimslayer right there.
Don't forget the scariest part. The actual time with the Mobius who knows who Loki is, you don't know which Kang is there.
There's no Kang there. That Kang was killed.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. But you know, somebody's probably taking that over.
Well, Sylvie would
come in his place.
Sylvie, it's possible that somebody might come there to try to take that spot from Sylvie, but Sylvie's the last one.
Because also remember, Kang can come back. Remember, he can what do you call it? Reincarnation. Because he said, "See you soon."
Which is interesting, because I know that if spoilers for anybody who follows the comics or doesn't follow the comics, there is a character later on. Once again, spoilers. That joins up with the Young Avengers named the Iron Lad, which turns out to be a younger version or reincarnated version, but younger, of Kang. So it's totally possible that we might meet some new black kid, and it's like, hey, how's it going? I'm like, don't trust him. That's Kang. That's Kang right there.
Isn't that also ironic about this show too? The fact that the guy who's trying to keep the timeline together is a black dude at the center, at the end of time, person trying to hold everything together and keep peace is a black man. There was some irony. There was some irony put there with the casting. I know for sure. It's like,
I understand what you're saying, because you got to also realize the fact that if you want to take it to that metaphor and use that, you have to look at it and say that, listen, I'm one of the ones that don't want to kill other people in the street that don't like me. I'm okay. I want everybody to be in peace. But there's some other dudes that ain't as nice as me that will come here and wreck shop.
That's the second time now that Marvel has, subliminally, well, not subliminally with the first, with Falcon and Winter Soldier, but Falcon and Winter Soldier, you got to think about that too with the shield. Like, this guy is gonna hold and represent a shield that hasn't always gave a shit about representing brown people. Like at certain points in time in history, especially like in the older days. So that is some irony. It's like who's holding everything together at the end of time? A black guy. What?
Yeah. Because they could have done that. Like that's the beautiful thing about like in those kind of casting choices where Kang has essentially, if you look in the comics, the different versions of him has essentially been some white dude of various different times. But at the same time, there was another one named Immortus that was an Egyptian guy. So, I mean, it's very easy for them to be like, he's Egyptian. It's like, yeah, Egypt. Just so you know, geography, Egypt's in Africa. So, I don't know. I'm just saying, if anybody got a problem,
but we tend to forget that though when they make movies in Africa.
Are we talking about God of Egypt? Those gods of Egypt?
I'm talking about any
Gerard Butler.
I mean, I'm talking about any movie you've ever seen in Egypt. I'm like, a lot of these times they have, even if it's a war picture and it takes place in Egypt, you barely ever see any black people. And I'm like, but they're in Africa. Like, okay.
Quite a few of us here. That's quite a few of us.
Like, I guess.
But with that said, I am looking forward to seeing the ramifications of the branching out of the
overall
multiverse.
Episodes 1 through 6, final score 1 out of 10
of the series.
Season 1.
Oh, season 1. I'm gonna say a 8 from me. I'm gonna say 8 because it was a bit of a slow burn, and I understand that like it's Loki, so Loki is not really the like action hero. Jean-Claude Van Damme doing split kicks and shit. Like,
he's more of the talker. There's a lot more dialogue and backstory of my mother once told me. Yeah, you get. So yeah, I thought it was 8.5. I gave it 8.
One of the things I want to explain, because I know this has been one of those like critiques that they had, and I think it was in like episode 3 or something when they were on Lamentus. And there was a moment where Loki literally like stopped something from like falling onto him, and they're like, "Oh my God, Loki's got some new power." I'm just gonna explain that real quick. He is magic. That's it. That's all you need to know. He's got magic. Like, I don't understand why he needed.
Yeah, you mean like when he made
some mutant ability,
like when he made the blanket come around himself. Yeah,
he's got magic, bro. Like, I don't know what to tell you. Ask David Blaine how he does the crazy crap he does, and then come back to me and go, "Oh, he must have a mutant ability." No, he knows how to do magic. That's the same thing. What is Loki's abilities? He knows how to use a dagger, and he knows magic, and he knows how to do the manipulations of like different Lokis have different levels. Like clearly, you can see when they were doing it in episode 5 with the older Loki, played by Richard E. Grant. Yeah. This guy can literally, based on his age and based on his level of magic, this dude can literally make a full replica of freaking Asgard. It's an illusion.
He was doing illusions. And don't forget too, Loki can also take the form of other people too. Same thing like Mystique. Yeah, he can.
Yeah, shape-shifting. So it's not to the extent of like having any kind of like power with it or anything, but like it is something that he's able to do. So it's like, as we're ending that part and we're going.
It comes in handy if you were trying to get into a concert or something.
Yeah. It
can definitely come in handy. Can you imagine if you could shapeshift? Like, that would be pretty cool if I was like, man, I'm trying to get into WrestleMania and it's sold out. I'll just shapeshift into the main security guard that works here. I'll just walk right in.
I mean, unless you walk in and you walk into that guy, and then it's like, hey.
You're like, run. Wait, then you could easily run through the crowd and shapeshift into a little kid. Like, no, never find you.
Nah, it's got to be one of those things like that bus. If anybody's ever seen the video on YouTube, it's still hilarious to this day. The bus driver that hits the lady, we going to hell today.
Oh my God. Yo, that was insane.
Yo, that uppercut came
out. Yeah, it was almost like that scene in New Jack City when he was like, "Your soul is required in hell." Like, yeah. Like, crazy.
Well, guys, it has been a pleasure once again. I'm Markell.
And I'm Ronnie.
And this guy over on the other screen, I don't know if it's flipping back and forth or whatever, but is Ronnie. And this has been another episode. This has been episode.
Don't forget, make sure to hit that wonderful like and subscribe button. Tell us what you think of our show. Follow us.
Absolutely.
On
Instagram, we're Ronnie Markell Podcast. Facebook, Ronnie Markell Podcast. And coming very soon, RonnieandMarkell.com, where we're going to have articles and we'll dive deeper into a lot of the topics that you love. That way, if you want to get an abridged version of some of the things or some cliff notes on some of our comic book recommendations, we are nerds for you. We are nerds for true nerd people.
For you, the people.
For you, the people. But once again, this has been Ronnie Markell Make a Podcast. This is the Zoom edition. Very soon we'll be able to come back together in person at some point. But for now, you are getting a chance to see inside of just a piece of our homes. You get to see this lovely Captain America shield and my lovely toys and all of these other things. So you're getting deeper into the mind.
Like my sloth. Look at that. Oh, man. Ooh. And a Walmart exclusive, no doubt. Look at that.
It's pretty easy to get. I don't know why that is,
Nah, it's definitely not if you're a Funko Cult. The Walmart exclusives are a pain in the ass.
Yeah, it can be. It can be, depending on which one it is, because you can look at those. How hard is it to get those mech Avengers, those mech strike Avengers that are exclusive?
If you want those, or you want any of the Lucha wrestlers, those are not hard at all.
The Lucha ones are gone though. The Lucha ones are actually went to clearance.
Oh,
they're gone. Yeah, they were like
I heard they make great shelf holders and stuff.
Wow. That's well, listen. On this show, we support all Funkos of all different creeds.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, that's true. All Funko Pops matter. I get it.
What? AFM right there. The AFM. And with that said, we are going to sign off with a little bit of. He's still trying.
I can't turn it off. Where's the button?